Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dominion's 4AI Battles. This match is gonna be another lower bracket match between Xibalba, I have no idea how to pronounce this name, I think it's Xibalba, Flooded Caves versus Nazca. Both nations I don't really play. I'm pretty sure Xibalba is a faction that was added maybe in a patch. I remember trying them out at some point, but wasn't really successful with them. But hopefully all these updates are right here. But we're gonna learn how the AI plays them. And Zal, I hope you come back before you head off to bed. I would like to say thank you again for joining in. I gotta change the odds real quick, super professional. Since these are both land nations and this is the first time they're fighting, both of them have the same wins. They're both set to 1-1. So let's get right into it. Another one of these matches that I haven't really played either of these nations at all. Another one of these matches rather. So let's just take a look at their units. I think it's a good spot to do that. Actually, I think I've played, is this Nazca? This is Nazca, right? Yeah, it is. I've played them before. They have the ability to like mummify their generals, so it's kind of like an Egyptian vibe to it, but with like a flying unit like sub theme to it. Like most of their units are flyers. So I want to actually devalue them. The AI has a hard time making tactical decisions with flying type units. They don't typically have them set on weight. If they do, then that's really good for them, but most of the time they just have them set into attack and they just die immediately. But yeah, they have like an Air Morian vibe to them with their mummification stuff, and they're really high on death magic. Their god is Epunamon rather. He's got 2 air elementals that come with him every battle, and he has lightning damage on a ranged attack of 30, which is pretty good. Only air magic 5, which gives missile range, but I'm not sure if their sacred unit has missile damage, and it does not. It does not look like it. So that's the blessing effect of air is kind of lost on them, and they're not making any moves this first turn. So we have Xibalba here, which is like a frogman race, if I remember. Yeah, they're kind of like frogmen. They're Atlanteans that have become more of like a land-based amphibian, so it's kind of like an evolutionary thing. And they're kind of like an Aztec civilization to some degree. So like a mixture of like Lovecraft, like horrors and stuff like that is what my assumption as to it. And for their domain, they have a little turmoil. I added that so that I could increase some of their other stats here. You'll see their god come up in a few turns. They have 1 production. I think they prefer heat scale 2, so there's 0 on heat scale. They have +1 growth, -3 luck, -3 drain, so they're not really gonna get a lot of research done on these first few turns. Only a domain 1, but I'm pretty sure Xibalba has a high domain when he gets fielded, so we can wait for that to happen. As for Nazca, they're actually moving out on the 3rd turn, so this is at least showing some promise. And it's only with wow, they're going mercenaries. It doesn't blow my mind too much that they're buying mercenaries this early in the game to push out, and they're actually not pushing out with these mercenaries at all. And I actually forgot I had another cup of water, so excuse me while I take a drink, so my throat is dry. They actually were unsuccessful with that. That's blowing my mind. So what mercenary unit was that? Oh, I can't check. Wait, what? That was a mercenary unit, right? Could have sworn that was a merc unit. Maybe they died. Maybe the commander got killed. That's why they got routed so quickly. But otherwise, I didn't see what happened there. There's actually an assassin going in and killing commanders. So like there's a frog assassin. I didn't even know they had a frog. There's like a toad assassin, but he's underwater, so he's got to be like a frog man. Oh man! Oh, we got little Pepes! Holy shit! Why didn't I ever play this race before? These things are adorable. Oh, little obsidian sword club things. Oh, look at them! Oh man, let me. Can I zoom down? The fucking adorable frog dude. Holy shit! All right. Well, I wanted Xibalba to win in this match, mainly because just by the virtue of the god that I made for him, I think their god looks fucking amazing. So he is flying. You'll see when he gets summoned, we can check out his stats. So he's flying, so there's possibility that he flies in and gets killed and routes whatever assault that he's backing. But I think I remember him having relatively high magic. I mean, I could be wrong. He's got to have high something, because these Dominion stats are not high at all. They're very low. So he must have at least level 10 something. He might have level 10 death magic, because he's got native death magic. I think he's got level 10 death magic and level 5 of something else. It might be HP. So they assassinated the leader in this province. It's unfortunate we can't check neutral strength when we're on the turn for the computers. So we don't know how strong this force is now with the frog assassin dude. The Chakmooch assassin. Oh fuck. Poison his skin. Like this has to be like a race that was added in a patch. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I just don't recall this faction at all. I would have played the fuck out of this if I knew there was a frog faction. Maybe this is on me for not really setting my AI opponents to random. It like kind of stunted my growth. And yeah, they were able to get the province because they didn't have an enemy commander. That was a good assault. That was a good assault by my Xibalba motherfuckers. My little frogs. That was good. Oh, this match hyped me up, man. I'm glad. Like, I was starting to get worn down by the heat of my house. But seeing frogs, I didn't even know there was a frog race. Freaking amazing. So this seems like an actual assault by Nazca. Hopefully they're able to take the territory. But see, this is the issue. They fly in. Are these, how much defense do they got? Bronze armor and the shield. So I mean, and they're the sacred unit. So I mean, if they're gonna survive, if something's gonna survive, it will be those guys. So they only lost 2 so far. Or maybe only lost 1 and just 1 flew away. So they finally were able to take their first territory. I can't believe they wasted money on mercs, and those mercs just straight up just died. That was incredibly unfortunate for them. But see, that's the thing with the increased resource gain for these enemy factions. So they can afford mercs more often. We can see the different mercs. I'm actually gonna go to my faction's turn to see where I'm at. So I don't know who I give the advantage to getting to me first. They're both pretty much equidistant, but it looks like Xibalba is definitely going for water territories because they have taken this territory, which I can't read. So they might be going for me. But yeah, Zal, it is frogs versus birds. And I want the frogs to win. I'm partial to the frogs. And the frogs have had a really strong start. They've taken a territory every turn. And they actually used an assassin effectively, which is like, I think a first for this tournament. The only successful assassins that I've seen in this tournament so far have been neutrals. Like no one's actually ever really been, like the computer just rarely uses assassins successfully. But they were able to do it against neutrals, and they killed something with the Chak Xibalba or whatever it is, which is pretty cool. Man, these frog guys, how did I not know this faction existed? So not only did I just randomly create like the coolest aesthetic god, in what is their god's name? I don't even know. It's like Mitu Chitlan is the name that RNG gave to their god. I want him to come out so that I can see his stats. I don't have the spreadsheet open with the stats of the nations, which I probably should, but I didn't expect to be have enough energy to have another casted match, birds against frogs. Though, you know, you would think that the birds in the real world would have the advantage against the frogs, so they might be able to do it. Ah, it looks like Zal is a fan of Nazca. Like, I've played it, like, I think 1 or 2 matches with Nazca in my time, and, like, if you know what you're doing, they really do feel like a strong nation, and I do like their aesthetic of mummies. Like, I like the mummification type of thing. I like any faction that uses death magic to some degree. I don't know, I brought it up earlier in the stream, where, like, I don't know, I always like playing necromancers in my D&D games or anything like that. One of my first D&D expansions was, what was it? Libris Mortis, which is the Book of the Dead D&D expansion. I don't know. I always like undead things. I mean, I guess it's kind of edgy, but I don't like it because it's edgy. I don't know. It's the fact that you can get like zombies and like skeletons. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems so cool. Zombies and skeletons. I'm sure everyone at some point liked zombies and skeletons. Man. You missed the viewing for Epunamon, which is Nazca's god. So we can definitely go back and watch, go back and see what Epunamon's stats are. I don't mind showing his stats off more. We haven't seen the stats for Mitsu Chitlan. I think that's the name that RNG got. We haven't seen his stats because I don't have his stats up, and I don't have the card that I can have the overlay set up. So that I can start the match a little bit quicker. So we have to wait, and I think he might be imprisoned or dormant, so it's going to be quite a while before he comes out. But we can check Nazca's god. So yeah, we have a Punamon for Nazca. He's got the 2 air elementals. He's got the ranged lightning damage, which I think he could be a powerhouse if he gets fielded and just set on ranged attack. Because that's 27 magic damage is nothing to joke about, and he's got free units at the start of the match. And it's level 5 air magic, so he's gonna give the sacred buff of like missile range. Unfortunately, I didn't know too much about Nazca, or rather remember too much about Nazca. So the missile range, it doesn't really affect them too much. But like a Punamon doesn't really have a whole lot of magic choices. Like it costs a lot to get different tiers of other magic. So unfortunately, he's stuck with 5. So blessing of the sacred stuff is not really gonna come into play. As for the Dominion, I think they prefer cold scale -1. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe that's just like like to get some extra points, but they're above average on everything. So they can research somewhat quicker. They have some luck. They have some growth. They're just like an all around like neutral faction comes to territory. I think it like helps them out a bit. Like they don't have any glaring negatives of having like negative 45% luck events for good events. And look, oh my gosh, I honestly think that this faction is programmed to use their assassins, because I'm seeing them actually use their assassins. That's blowing my mind. An actual use for assassins. So Xibalba, or Xibalba, or whatever it's called, uses their assassins. They're starting to lose their advantage. They haven't taken any real large swaths of territory, while Nazca has been building up their air forces. And I know I complain about air units, because like typically fragile and they'll break incredibly easily. I mean, but at the same time they can get instant surrounds. So Nazca and other factions that have like humanoid flyers with the ability to have equipment like shields and whatnot, those are always valued higher because they have the ability to not only surround with their flying, but they also have shields, so they can not get one-shot killed. Like, so many of the flying units in this game are just trash. They get one hit killed by pretty much anything, even archers that have like a dagger. Like harpies get killed in one hit. The crows from like any magical spell get killed in one hit. But yeah, I don't know. Nazca's showing a real force here. They're taking. We already know they take this territory if you look at the map, but they're on the warpath against the neutrals. While Xibalba's forces, we haven't seen a whole lot from them. We've seen a couple of the really cute frog dudes, but they definitely don't have. I don't think we're gonna look at the stats because I want to see like raw unit counts. Yeah, like no friggin' surprise to me here. Like it's very obvious that Nazca's doing something right. What is Xibalba doing here? Oh man. So you might be right, Zal. like the amount of territories they're taking, they're expanding aggressively here, and they're heading right to Xibalba, like main capital of Xibalba. I think they're like 2 territories away from potentially taking it, though they won't make that aggressive of a call. Is this assassin gonna pay off? And it is, but I don't know if that's really gonna pay off, especially if they lose this territory to the neutral Krakens. And they are Krakens. I don't know. Like, I have a hard time valuing, rather. Speaking is hard. Aquatic units. I know Krakens can like put out a bunch of damage a turn because of their tentacles, but I guess it's not enough. I think there's the standard militia or merman was enough to take this. Like, at least they held. Xibalba's in a very precarious position. They were making really strong advances early game. I guess this is still early game. However, compared to Nazca's pushing potential, I don't know if they can hold. Like, are they not building units? Is what is going on in Xibalba's capital here? They are building units. They're building their sacred units. Wait, why do they have... Okay, they can only afford 8 of these per turn, but the AI has put... Oh, there's got to be like something wrong with their AI, because they're just wasting production here. They can't afford this many units. Because they don't have the holy points. Meanwhile, Nazca is actually going into the water. This has to be like a mercenary force, and it is. It's the Wet One mercenary unit. We watched them fight last match and had them completely get demolished by neutrals, and it looks like the Wet Ones might be demolished again. Their commander is getting really close to the coming out, and they're not taking this. Will the commander die? It looks like the Wet One mercenaries aren't going to be coming back. But yeah, this is the timing push that Nazca needs to do because their god is in an awakened state, so they need to be taking territories before Xibalba has their... I'm assuming I made his magic really strong before the terror of Xibalba's god comes out. Yeah, they might be based around like the ability to get the bats of Xibalba. And this must be probably is a bad generation for them. Because this map doesn't, yeah, as you're saying, Zhao, yeah, you're saying that there isn't a lot of forests, and I'm gonna check the map, but I don't recall seeing a whole lot of forest tiles for them. So, Nazca was routed, surprisingly. What happened here? I mean, I guess they just lost a bunch of their foul spawns, which caused them to rout. But yeah, the forest tiles, unfortunately, yeah, look at this. This is terrible map generation for them. They had to effectively go 2 territories up before they could even start getting any of the forest tiles. That's very bad luck for them. But they did get a coastal province, so it allows them to like kind of use the amphibious nature of their frog units. But they're not really using it to an advantage to the point that I would assume they should have had like almost all the water territories at this point of year 1. But we're getting more assassinations. Hopefully they're able to capitalize on these forced assassinations here before Nazca, because Nazca is pushing out insanely fast. It's very possible that Nazca just gets to those provinces before the main forces of Xibalba. All right, so at least they took a territory. Okay, so they had agony. All right, that makes sense why they broke so quickly. Let's take a look at the map. This is not a good position for Xibalba to be in. They don't have a whole lot of expansion opportunities here. A lot of their territories go to the same provinces, and we already have Nazca knocking at the frog's door. They don't have any forest territories yet. And it might be a while before they get it, though this is a stale turn, pretty much, for Nazca. They're not doing anything other than getting research and buying units. What are they buying? We're getting Condor Warriors, which is their sacred unit, or one of their sacred units, rather. I think when I play Nazca, like, I buy a fuck ton of these, like, the priests, and, like, that's probably my mistake. Like, I don't know the strategies, and that's probably why I lost so much as them. I feel like I was probably going too hard into their summon units. One unit died from disease, man. Is that even worthy of a message? Was one unit died? Lion Tribe. Against some Lion Tribe. I have to thank Zhao for this because without this knowledge, I would have had to stuck with the stupid like super zoomed in on the mountain. Now I can actually see what's going on. This is it was such a blessing now. Jeez. Man, just non-stop vine arrows being cast. Not doing a whole lot. Independence routed. I'm curious what the main force from Nazca is doing, because this is like the contingency force of archers. I guess they moved back to home base. I don't know why. They could have easily kept pushing out, and there's no immediate threat. They know where Xibalba is. They've seen their first territory. Sure, they don't know where I'm located, but it's not at their borders. They clearly can push out here. And I think it's gonna happen. I think Nazca's gonna reach the territories of the assassinations that Xibalba was doing and benefit from them before Xibalba can. They lost all their archers, or whatever those flyers were. I think that was their archer contingency. I don't know why they flew in. I guess they ran out of ammo? Oh, getting blood slaves. Okay, so here we go. This is one of the few names in this this series, because everything's randomized with the names and whatnot. So let me try. The god of Xibalba of Mictantektuli. Mictantektuli. I'm gonna call him Michael. He's gonna be called Michael from now on. So Michael is up. Let's take a look at Michael's stats. So yeah, he's got 9 earth and 9 death magic. So when they actually get their sacred units, they're gonna get undying death weapons, reinvigoration, and honestly, what is the tier 9 and 10 of earth magic? I personally never really go to tier 9 or 10 earth magic. Reinvigoration, and what else? Guess we'll have to wait and see when we click a sacred unit, but he's finally up. He's very mage heavy, and he comes with 1d6 bat beast and 3d6 lung dead. So he's a pretty good assaulting god. So once he gets out, this is their timing push. They need to get into these forest provinces. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. They've stalled immensely, and they keep. I don't know why they have. Like, I don't know what the AI does, because I've seen this happen before. They just have way too many units than they can afford, and it's always there. Like, they're still trying to build all these dart throwers, even though they don't have the holy points. They're like negative 12 holy points. They can't afford all of these units. Yeah, I think it is protection. I think it's plus protection, then maybe reinvigoration is the 9. I just can't remember what it is. I know Earth Magic does indeed have the stat for reinvigoration to like help out with fatigue, or at least I'm pretty sure that is. I never go Earth Magic. Here we go. Protection plus 5, reinvigoration plus 4. So I think you're right. Protection plus 4 plus 5 is for tier 9 and 10. So you're right, Zhao. I knew they had reinvigoration though, because I typically get reinvigoration just as like value points, but I never like put 10 points into anything. But death weapons, I don't know. I probably overvalue death weapons. And look, we're gonna have our first actual conflict. Nazca is declaring war on Xibalba with their. Okay, so this is their archer contingency. They have a bunch of archers. Like, they have the Lion Tribe archers, they have the Jaguar warriors throwing rocks. Like, all of their units are like fucking ranged. It's unfortunate that they're not the sacred units, because if they were sacred, they'd be able to benefit from the missile range from the magic, the air magic of their god. Maybe that's why I put air magic on them, because for some reason I knew they had somewhat decent archers. But Nazca is pushing in. This is probably gonna be a quick match, I have to say. Even if they're not successful and they lose this territory out to Xibalba, like, look at the forces that they're amassing. This territory is going to go 100% next turn, and I feel like this territory is going to die next turn by maybe the Wolf Tribe. Or maybe they might make a terrible call and move these troops out. Nazca definitely needs to like attrition long term by putting a strong front line on Xibalba. And I knew they were going to take this. They were definitely setting up to take it by moving their main force, or rather dividing the main force at Nazca into 2 smaller forces. But we're gonna see how strong a medium to large size army against is a lot of mages. So this is the dream here. Get the wrong page down rather than page up. And they actually have their flyers set to wait. See, this is good AI. They don't always do this, so they set the flyers to wait, and then maybe 2 or 3 turns, then they fly in. Praise be to good AI. Because if you make it so that your flyers come in and like maybe you have them set to fly into the front line because you want to, there's a lot of sleep cloud going on, but I don't think it's enough. Even if they put like half the forces to sleep, they're still gonna die. But you want to give your front line enough time to engage rather, so that you can have then a full surround of the enemy, rather than having your flyers fly in and immediately die because they are not getting the full surround. They get surrounded. That, or you have them attack the backline commanders, which is typically where their archers are, so you set them to attack archers, and just by chance you'll have them attack commanders. But yeah, I definitely undervalued Nazca in here. I didn't think they were bad, and I didn't know anything really about Xibalba. I said at the start of this, I didn't know that they had frog units that are adorable. I knew they had the bats, which was kind of weird when I started the matchup, because like I'm pretty sure the 1 or 2 matches that I've played in my time with Xibalba, maybe I started in the forest tiles as you were talking about, Zal. I'm starting to come back to me that they do need the forest tiles to summon their bat units. Or like maybe it's the forest tiles, maybe it's the cave, I don't really know. But yeah, this is not a good start for them. I mean, it was a good first start for them, rather. God, my brain's not functioning anymore. They had a very good start. They didn't get lucky on the map generation, but despite that, they were pushing out harder than Nazca. But then they just stalled. They can't do a whole lot with their frog units, as it would seem. Or maybe they can. The AI is just making bad calls. Though, I mean, a Shambler force is good to see. We have a larger Shambler force versus a lesser Shambler force. Oh my god. If the neutrals won that, it would blow my mind. If the neutrals with less Shamblers. I felt like they were so close to breaking. It was crazy. There's a lot of unexpected events. Misfortune. Didn't mean to click it twice. Misfortune +3. It looks like the gods don't want Xibalba to win. Even though there's technically no god in the lore right now. They're all fighting to become the god. But getting Misfortune +2, +3, and +1 into different territories is not a good place for them. But they're able to take the forest area, which has the steel ovens, which is just a magic site that gives construction bonus. So actually that kind of helps them if they want to build a fort there. So yeah, these are the bat guys that I was remembering playing as Xibalba. Like these bat humanoids. But I don't know, these bat humanoids from them, I don't think that they definitely can't stand up to Nazca's flying units. I think Nazca definitely just has the best flyers out of all the factions that I've played or with knowledge of. I mean, there's a few factions that I don't play, so it's very possible that I make bad calls, but I'm enjoying this. Yeah, it did seem like frogs are generally more expensive, Zao, so you're right. Like, they definitely feel like more of a mid-game thing. They were just, I think Xibalba hired a neutral, like a mercenary group, and that's what allowed them to push out early. But they didn't use it as a pivot point for them. And now they're in a position where they don't have enough gold to really expand into buying those upper tier units in large quantities. Whereas Nazca has been pushing out nonstop since the beginning of this match, and is at the point where they have an army of, I'd say that's like 250, and that's not even like all of their forces. They have large army forces around every bit of this map, and they could probably siege Xibalba at this point. They won't be successful, but they probably might be able to kill the neutrals, like the 25, not neutrals, but like the 25 defensive force of the capital. I mean, death weapons. Did death weapons come into play? Oh, these are the bladed ones, not the blow darts. But I'm never sure about if the death weapons come into play with blow darts or ranged weapons. I should probably check that up. But most of the time when I do run sacreds, and I run sacred death, it's with a faction that I know has relatively strong melee-based like sacred units. Like one of the like favorite things to do is to run death and fire magic, like level 9 on Abyssia, middle age Abyssia. Because then their like sacred units got the ambidextrous double hits, so you get the double hit with death and fire, so you get the burn damage as well as the potential to cause wounds, and they have berserker, so yeah, I think it works really well on them. That's like one of my go-tos. We got some vanguards from Nazca here. That's a lot of sacreds they're going against, and that was expected. They weren't going to get a whole lot done. That's typically what I see the AI do. They don't field enough flyers to be successful, or they just if they do have enough flyers, they just don't make the tactical decision of waiting, and they fly in too early and die. But this is a lot of archers. We have maybe 25 Lion Tribe, maybe 15 Nazca archers. We have all of these Jaguar warriors that have throwing stones. There's a commander right here, though. That's a potential right here. Potential for a upset. I don't know, actually. I think Xibalba might have this. Just because the frogs seem relatively tanky, and it looks like that's the case. So I think this is the territory that is right at the border of Xibalba. So this was the assaulting force that we've seen take 2 of Xibalba's territories. So it looks like Xibalba was able to take one of their territories back. And it looks like the neutrals are having none of this world domination attempt by Nazca. And this force will not defend, this is 20, 15 or so knights. I don't know, hold up. I think it's like 13 knights. That's a lot of knights, man. I mean, at least it's not the barbarians. Nazca can come in here and wipe this up with a medium-sized force relatively easily. The barbarians, not so much, because their flyers would fly in and immediately get killed. Because the barbarians hit so freaking hard. Let's see. 14! No, that's human warriors, never mind. Knights, 15, I was close. I said 15. I said 15 first, and then I said 14, then I said 13. So I was right. I called it. I could judge size of units. I gotta get better at that. Just like seeing the size, because then I can actually cast somewhat more effectively. I gotta get better. But look, we have a potentially very good turn for Xibalba here, because we already know they take the territory away from Nazca. If they can take these 2 territories, this might be the start of the comeback for them. We got some mermen here, which are poor amphibians, unfortunately. Yeah. So I think a lot of them are going to end up dying to the mercs, not mercs, but the neutral archers back there. Simply because of how slow they are. Though they're not breaking because they do have a decent priest, and they say that and they break. A decent priest casting Sermon of Courage every turn. So they took this is a good turn for Xibalba. I want them to win. I want them to win, Zhao. I want my frogs to beat out your really strong bird people. Though, I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed to see Nazca win because they're showing incredible strength. I think they would be a very good contender in the next match. Let's see. Hold up. Let me check the bracket. Okay, so they're not going to be going up against Oceania because Oceania is going to go up against Miklon, which got a bye just by random chance because no one had any victory conditions. So far, we don't know who the winner of this match will be going up against. It'll either be Ulm or Pythium. I have some experience with Pythium. I have way more experience with Ulm, and because I have more experience with Ulm, and I am pretty decent with Ulm, my money is on Ulm to win. on that next match. And they're actually they're pushing Nazca away from their borders. I don't think Nazca holds this. The frogs are pretty strong units. They're just expensive for them to put out. They have some of the sacred units here. I don't know what happened to their blow darters. They were building like 5 blow darters in return for a while. I don't know why they're not fielding them as like ranged support. Or maybe they just have them in a different attacking group. Yeah, I'm glad you agree with me on this one. Ulm seems like a very strong race, like a lot of defensive capabilities, a lot of different choices for units and counters. AI seems to like to get like a mishmash of all the units, so they will be getting a lot of piercing and bludgeoning units. So like they would be able to counter some armor types or the resistances and whatnot. This is not a very good attack by Xibalba, but I think they might be able to do it. Depends if they break because of the archer's attack. But yeah, man, I love Ulm. Ulm's like one of my top 5 factions. They're just really tanky, like tower shields and the Black Knights of Ulm. No, they haven't lost anything. The way this bracket was set up is no one's lost. The lower bracket isn't a loser's bracket, it's just a lower division. So they haven't lost yet. This is just, I should probably just call it lower division bracket. So far everyone in these fights haven't lost anything. So I don't think they're gonna lose. I think they're probably gonna at least get to semifinals or maybe finals of this lower division. So yeah, no one's lost. It's a single elimination tournament. I felt like that would work well with the whole lore of someone trying to become a Pantocrator with killing off their opposition. So like if like Ulm got knocked out, then that was their chance to become Pantocrator taken away. Sort of like all of these battles of this season are happening on one world, and we're gonna have like at the end it would be like half the globe fighting half the globe. I'm gonna assume Pangea wins the upper division bracket finals against Asphodel, despite me liking Asphodel. I'm assuming that Pangea is gonna win because they've been showing really strong promise throughout this entire thing. And what an unlucky assault by the Barbarians. Those Barbarians are real strong, man. You gotta respect them. They come in such large numbers, and they do a whole lot of damage. But Nazca's no slouch. They're actually potentially, I don't see why they don't take these 2 territories. Actually, I don't know. Why are they only fielding? Maybe they can do it. They're undead, so the fact that they're gonna break is not gonna happen. False fetters and dead. No amount of glamour was gonna help you win that fight, Nazca. I mean, I guess it could have, you know, I just get RNG Jesus with like non-stop misses. But here we go, large force by Nazca. It's good to see one faction fielding a lot of units. This is the Knight province. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're gonna lose a few Jaguar warriors here. But the flying cavalry has just come in, and they're gonna cause a complete surround on these knights. I need to get some more water. My throat's dry. Oh man, it's like dehydrated. I feel like a raisin. It's like 10:40 at night for me where I'm at, and it's so hot out. Like it's like just like pulling all the moisture out of me. These knights are actually holding longer than I thought. I guess maybe the attack rating on Nazca warriors isn't that high. I mean, I guess that kind of balances them out because they do have the mobility and the defense due to like their armor rating. So like to give them really high attack value would definitely be broken. 'Cause, like you have to obviously balance between mobility, defense, and offense. I mean, I guess they routed probably a few turns ago. It's unfortunate though because the knights aren't able to like actually leave because of the full surround on them. So they were forced to kill every one of those knights in the Timeless Wastes. All right, let's take a look at the map here. I assume that Nazca was like farther out than this. They did have 2 territories right next to Xibalba. They did lose those. But I don't know. I feel like Xibalba's in a very precarious situation. Like, they really need to, like, push out here. And they are. They have some territories next to my fortress here. And it's possible for them to just to get to my kingdom of Ashdod, the kingdom of giants. In one turn, they could potentially siege me. I don't see why they would, because the AI just doesn't like doing that type of things. But maybe they're aggressive on the AI spectrum. And again with the assassination attempts by the frog assassins of Xibalba. I mean, I'm not complaining, man. Like, I like seeing, oh, he's dead. There's no way. Yeah, animate dead and rooted. There's no way you come back from that. So no commander kill on Nazca here. They are really going heavy on, like, every unit they have. Pretty barring these dudes right here, has a range component attached to their class. Like, they're buying the Jaguar Warriors, they're buying like really crappy neutral archers, they're buying like the Lion Tribe archers. Obviously they have their own specific types of archers. It's causing so much like attrition damage to the opponent. Though that was a bad volley. There was a volley right into the main force of Nazca's flyers by their own units, causing them to retreat. I have to check the losses there. They lost more units to their own friendly fire than to the opponent. They lost 22 units, which is not a whole lot. That's maybe like 1.5 turns of recruiting in one province. So, I mean, it's not that awful, but most of those were due to friendly fire arrows, which I feel like is going to be a real common thing. Because I was praising their use of archers, but when you have that many and you have units that can basically teleport to any point on the map because of their flying ability. It's Xibalba trying to assassinate again. Unfortunate, 2 turns in a row, not able to make any assassination attempts. I think they need to be putting their money into other things other than assassins. They keep losing them. But I want my froggies to win, man. I want my toads to win. Look how cute they are with their like single like I think it's like a 2 pixel by 2 pixel black dot eye. It's freaking adorable. Go on, frogs, go get them. That was a pretty much guaranteed win on their part because of the amount of sacred frogs they had. But look how weak their lines are. And they're not even really going for a Dominion victory by putting cathedrals down. They only have 1. And it's like in the water territory behind their main fortress, which is only really affecting a very small portion of the map. Though they might win. I mean, I don't think they can win Dominion-wise, and I don't think they can win militarily at this point. Nazca would have to throw pretty hard for Xibalba to win with a military victory. At this point, they just don't have the resource gain per turn and the units fielded to really do that. It's possible, but I feel like Xibalba's best chance of winning is just to, like, by luck, to take me out. They're the closest to my home fort, so they could do it. But see, they're losing against Nazca, man. They're just getting surrounded by the flyers. These foul spawn are coming like crossbreeding things, I think. Like, I don't know what these things are really. They're weak, that's what I know. They're not too strong. Not a lot of defense if they're taking 18 damage from a knight. Well, that was a bad attack on Nazca's part, but they did take 1 Xibalba territory. And they might even take 2 Xibalba territories. Look at all those arrows. Yeah, they're taking this one. There's no like defensive ability from Xibalba. They don't spend any of like the gold they're getting, the extra 50% gold per turn. They don't seem to like to put more than like 5 to 10 defensive strength into provinces, and it's because of that they're gonna lose almost every territory because they don't have like just the raw unit count at this point to hold multiple territories with patrol or defend. All right, So they took that one. And this might cut the dreams away from Xibalba. Like, I don't think they have a huge force here at all. They could definitely take me out rather, by taking the water territory and then moving in to Ashdod. However, I don't think that's gonna happen. It seems like this is like the death throw of Xibalba. If we look at this, we have a huge force coming in here by Nazca. And we have smaller forces that are just set on patrol. They're not gonna do anything, but this force is gonna move in and take Bitra. We have Bitra again as a random name of a territory. We keep getting Bitra. Bitra they're gonna take, and these two forces, I wouldn't be surprised to take these forward Xibalba territories. But you know, Xibalba is pushing out to the bottom side of their continent, so at least they're doing something. If they take both of these neutral territories, they go neutral on territories gain loss per turn, which is good for them. And I don't see why they don't, because they're using their sacred units. Yeah, there's no way they don't take that. But we already know they take this territory because we've already seen the map. Though I'm surprised they take it. Like, barbarians are no slouch. But my frogs are, no, they're dying really quick. It's just that they killed enough of them early on before the onslaught of hammers just destroyed them. Thankfully, Xibalba didn't lose their sacred frogs. Even though they're toads, but I like calling them frogs. But they didn't lose their sacred frogs. They lost like their tier 2 ones. There's a clusterfuck of a turn rather. Like, everyone's doing everything here. Xibalba is pushing out multiple territories, trying to take them away from Nazca and neutrals. Maybe this is their second wind, but I feel like they just don't have the forces here. Like, sure, maybe they take this territory against these horse archers. But what happens next turn? What happens next turn? Is Nazca just gonna move in with their like 150 large force that they have on this western front? Possibly. Like, despite being a whole lot of these sacred dudes here. So these are the poison dart guys. So they're on the front line. I didn't know that they would want to go onto the front line. But they have their ranged sacred dudes holding the line while their actual like shielded sacred guys are behind. So some weird tactics going on by the AI with Xibalba here. But Nazca's moving down south to get more Xibalba territories. But yeah, this is definitely a pretty one-sided match. I'm not gonna say I'm disappointed, though. I do think my frog friends over here are pretty cute. Seeing them win would be pretty nice. Let's look at the other nations that we have in this lower division bracket. So yeah, the next set of matches that I'm not going to do tonight, I'll probably do tomorrow at some point, is versus Pythium, and then we have Atlantis versus Relay. I'm excited for that map because I don't know how it generated. I mean, because I just started up turning things to AI, and I don't remember how it generated. So that could be a very close quarters match if there's not a whole lot of water territories. There's a relatively medium-sized force of frog dudes, so this should be, I mean, at least kind of cool to see them to move up. But other than that, then the next match after Atlantis versus Relay, we have Jotunheim, which is the ice giant faction for Norse mythology, versus Sitis, which is the lizardman faction, which I liked playing a lot back in the day, but I was never good with them because I never really looked at any guides to like efficient use of like Dominion or like God things, and I think it was one of my earlier factions, and I don't think they're that like beginner friendly, or at least maybe they weren't just beginner friendly for me because I always struggled when I played as them. Then we have Machaka, which is Machaka. Okay, I remember who Machaka is now. I think they're the ones with the spider riders. So we have Machaka versus Agartha. I prefer Agartha than Machaka simply because I put more matches with Agartha, though at the same time, Agartha's very supply dependent because they have a lot of giant units. But, you know, they get the supply bonus and food bonus per turn, so that might be enough for them to amass some large armies. This is pretty one-sided. This is very one-sided of a match here. but we're gonna watch it because I'm gonna go back to the bracket and see. And then the final match of this first round of this lower division bracket, it's Ys, the YS faction. I don't know if the Ys is pronounced right, versus Ashdod. And once again, I would value the Land Nation over the Water Nation, despite us seeing a very strong showing for Oceania. Oceania just really blew me out of the water with like their. I didn't think that a water faction would like be that strong. Like they were definitely definitely had a stronger showing than Pelagia. So we shall see. And then we have the bye of Michelin, which is going to be going against Oceania, and that is round 2 of this lower division. The rest of the brackets, obviously, we don't have yet because we haven't done those rounds to see who moves ahead. I feel like we're just a few turns away from being the no return point for Xibalba. Like maybe we're already there, but the amount of territories lost to Nazca and the supply lines that are breaking because of Nazca, and the fact that neutrals are rebelling and causing attrition damage against Xibalba, and they're not even slouch neutrals, they're like freaking knight neutrals, so that they would have to invest more. Like, in this placement, why did you place the blow dart guys in front of the shielded sacred guys? It blows my mind, like the potato moves that the AI makes. Like sometimes they make some really crazy, like high tier plays. Like they place their units in such a way that is like incredibly strategic, and then other times they just plop them on the field wherever they want. You know, I was thinking that maybe I might do like a losers like off-season thing, where I put the losers of round 1 of the upper division bracket and then the losers of the lower division bracket, and make a tournament out of them. It'll be a shorter tournament because there's less, obviously, competitors, but it might allow us to have some crazy upsets. You know, maybe one of these factions just got a very unlucky resource start, like with neutrals that we can't unfortunately see that have surrounded them, so they can't make easy early game pushes, which causes exponential harm throughout the entirety of the game because they can't get those early game pushes. So like think races like Salem, Calum, and who did Pelagia win against? I actually closed it. I can't actually see who Pelagia won against, but Pelagia won pretty quick, and Marignan won really quick, so maybe those factions giving another chance would be, interesting. Because, the winning factions are getting all the spotlight, They're getting all the spotlight. Take a look at the map and the score statistics at the end of these battles. I don't think Nazca takes this at all. There's too many knights here. Unless some crazy spell is cast, but we didn't get any crazy moves. Nazca's going ham to the territory at the border of Xibalba's capital. And they're actually going to take this. Again, for the second time in this round, there might be a fortress siege of Xibalba. They probably won't do it with this small of a force, but when they're already at the border, they will see that there's a fortress there, and they'll see that it's the capital, and they might start moving their units down. Though they moved their commander up. I spoke too soon. You can always have these upsets with the AI. They have their commander set to stay behind troops or attack enemies, and then they just run up and then get killed. All right, Zal. I really appreciate you coming out and talking with me and stuff. I had a whole lot of fun streaming for you. But you have a good night, man. I'll catch you later, dude. You're probably not going to miss much.
I'm pretty sure that Nazca's going to win this, so you go to bed happy.
But, yeah, man, have a good night, man. Thank goodness that they were able to kill those neutrals. Oh no, that was Nazca. Hey, wow, Xibalba doing some work here. It's too little too late. We already check a look at the map here. Xibalba's losing territories left, right, and center due to neutral uprisings. And same, Nazca kind of is losing those as well, but it's all on the front line of Xibalba. Xibalba was able to defend against the massive assault and take a territory away from Nazca. But this is too little, too late. It is too little, too late. Yeah, there's 2 territory uprisings. We already seen the map. Oh, yeah. I mean, they don't have any units at my border. If they maybe move this force of mercs and combine them, they could probably take me out. But yeah, they probably will never make that call because they obviously don't know how much I have invested into defense. But they could win if they did that. They could. There's no way my defensive force holds up to a merc group and a couple of sacreds. Will they be able to take the territory back from the barbarians? I think so. I think they killed enough to potentially break them. They will lose quite a few frogs. Oh man. Let's just check the map real quick. You know, actually Xibalba's doing alright now. I mean, they did lose quite a few territories to Nazca, but they're starting to develop actually a front line here. Their unit counts are just way too low to be really efficient. Like, look at this. This is like the army just like deviation here that we would see, like the ratio we would see with like an Aramor faction versus someone else, like this 2-to-1 thing. There's like no reason for Xibalba to be in this situation where they only have like half the number of units. Sure, this unit size, this army size doesn't take into account price. It's just the raw number of units, and Nazca can spam them. But even then, like if you have more units, you can do like crazier surrounds, and like it doesn't really matter if you have a glamour if you're getting hit by like 7 units a turn. As for provinces, you know, Xibalba's actually doing better. This is what I noticed on the map. They have a stronger offensive line. This is when I looked at the map. They took those 2 territories. So this is good for them. I don't want to hit Dominion, but it looks like maybe their Dominion might be. I don't know. It seems very strong. Hold up. I might actually be dying next turn. No, never mind. I have 3 magic candles. I thought I had 0 almost. If I had 0, I'd already be dead. Whoops. But if Xibalba like builds a church and temple, and a fortress here, and just like holds up, I think they might win. I honestly think Xibalba has a chance of winning here. I actually don't remember it on the map if Nazca takes this or not. But hey, we got our hobbits! I haven't seen the Burgmeisters in a long time. I love my hobbits. I undervalued these guys so hard before, but they're incredibly strong. Maybe not against these swordsmen. Maybe they will die just to the surround of swordsmen, but their defense and their evasion is high enough so that they can just like not get hit by anything. And like these hobbits are like really hobbit, dude. Like they're the size of like someone's knee. Like they're like smaller than toddlers. Like they're like super hobbits. Oh, they might lose their captain here. Okay, they didn't. I don't know what accent that was. So like captain. But yeah, their captain was getting dangerous close to the swordsman. You know, if they lose you lose your captain or lord, you know, the rest of your units are gonna break, and then you won't be able to buy this Burgmeister squad again. Look at this, like, I don't know. I don't know how Xibalba is like has more territories than Nazca at this point. Like Nazca has more places that it can expand, and as such it would be able to take the total province count away from Xibalba. There's like 4 or 5 neutral provinces to the north, but it decides to like continuously put its forces to Xibalba's front line, and it's gonna lose this battle, or this defense rather. Easy, my frogs are doing it. My frogs are doing it. And remember what I said, like I'm wrong. Whatever like prediction that I say is like wrong 60% of the time. Like it's the opposite. And since I said Nazca was gonna win this, I hate to potentially disappoint my pal Zal, but maybe they lose because I placed my bets on Nazca winning. That happens more often than not. It's like surprising. Like I should just like not make like bets on something happening because I'm like wrong more often than I'm right. Got some Grave Touch Earth Rip going on. But that's not doing a whole lot when it's only placed on some normal neutrals, like a neutral militia. Doesn't do a whole lot. I don't know how Xibalba was doing this. I really don't. Like, yes, the units are really good. They're expensive, so they typically are stronger than normal fodder units. Definitely better than the Lion Tribe archers right there. But I don't know how the hell they are doing this with like the really diminished forces that they're running, because they have less forces on the field. They have to they lose if they lose like a smaller percentage. Like it's the same percentage of army. If you lose, you instantly break. I think that's how it works. So they have if they lose like 2 units, they might break in a squad. But Nazca gets routed. I don't know how this happened. I'm gonna check the stats on these like tall Womooch. The Womooches are also sacreds. So they have a whole bunch of sacred units. But they're not fielding priests. They could really be abusing this. They have very strong magic on like Xibalba. Like we've already watched this one. I hit the wrong one. They have really strong sacred buffs. They have reinvigoration. They have protection +5. They have death magic weapons, and they have undying. All things that would make assaults incredibly easy for them when they have that many options for sacred units. But they're not running priests. I don't know why they're not running priests. Holy shit. This is a long ass fight, but the surround happened, so they knew it was eventually gonna happen. They have so many units in some of these provinces that they're already losing units to starvation, which is unfortunate. We've already watched all of those battles. And I just noticed that the flag I have for Xibalba is indeed the flag that I have that is a Garthus flag on the overlay. So that, I think, yeah, the reason why that happened is because Xibalba is indeed a patched nation. Like, they're not in the default game files. So yeah, okay, so they're one of the patched nations. That makes sense. Nazca getting routed by neutrals? Or is this a Xibalbian, like, neutral force? This is a Xibalbian freaking neutral force. But they're some decent counterattacks that Nazca's putting out here. I don't see any reason why they don't take this, but we've seen some strange upsets as it is, so you never really know. You never really know. Wow, holy crap, I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. This is like one of my longest streams. Or at least longest streams this year. Normally my streams only last like between like an hour and 2 hours. Because we've been blessed by actual matches and not like complete upsets. I mean, not upsets, but complete domination of matches. I have no way Xibalba holds this. Check the Xibalba matches, or we could just look at the map and see what's going on here. Xibalba is definitely holding and pushing out here. This is actually very bad for Nazca, which makes me think that Nazca is more of a early game faction. And what Zal was talking about is that Xibalba is definitely a mid-game, late-game faction with the frog units, and they're actually not fielding any of their bats. They're not even buying any bats, I don't think. Let's see. No, they're not recruiting any bat units. Only straight frogs. And since Michael here and so much magic. I don't think we're ever gonna see him like put onto the field. So that's a disappointment. I would love to see him fielded with all of his bonuses. But he's got Bane Blade, which is kind of cool. Gotta love having so much magic that you can basically learn anything in construction. And he's gonna build anything because he's got like 9 earth, 9 death. Nazca on the offensive again, having 3 or 4 assaults. I think it's 4. But they keep losing relatively expensive flying units to the sacred, like, wow, mooch or whatever these guys are. The really tall, like, ogre size, shambler size. Honestly, hold up. I think these motherfuckers are the model for shamblers. They just put a head on it. Because, like, the war shamblers have weapons and shields and armor. I think these are, like, just the shamblers with the frog head on them. But yeah, so these guys are nothing to like slouch at. Same thing with like the brown toad dudes. Yeah, they'll take this. We don't need to see this. Yeah, sure we've seen some upsets, but I wanna get to bed too. You know, Zhao made me realize that I was getting quite tired as well, but I gotta keep going till the end, to the bitter end of this match. I was hoping to get 3 matches done, but my throat is killing me. I'm not used to talking for 3 hours straight. God damn it, Nazca. Why'd you have to like hear me say that you're gonna win and then decide to this like throw? It blows my mind. Still have 3 Dominion left in my territory, though. I feel like that's gonna end real soon. Xibalba seems to like be wanting to like cut off the forces of Nazca, and Nazca seems to be more interested in the western front than the eastern front. These forces are already pretty much cut off, so I think Xibalba is gonna end up taking. We already watched all those fights. Let's go to the next turn. Ah, so they lost one of their dudes because of disease. So, but he lives again as a mummy. We have a neutral fight. Is this territory going to be finally taken by one of our factions? Nope. It looks like it's not going to happen. The priest blessed himself, so he's got death weapons, but that's not going to really do anything when all the other forces leave him. He doesn't do any damage, it seems. That's a complete loss by Xibalba. Though they didn't really lose too much. Sure, they lost one of their commander units, which is never really good. They only lost horse archers. I mean, if they lost a force of these mooch guys, whoa, mooch. That'd be pretty freaking awful for them. But yeah, this is gonna be a loss for Nazca. I don't see any reason why Xibalba would lose his defense at this point. I think the reason why Xibalba started taking these victories is that they have less and less of these poison dart dudes, and they're going more into the other sacred units. We have a neutral mercenary force, which will take this. Take a look at the map. This is actually quite equalized quite nicely. Like, there's like a line of approximate symmetry right here to some degree. So Xibalba isn't going to be able to hold. I don't know. Like, it's tough. It's tough to call. I don't know why Xibalba hasn't taken this territory yet. Or this territory. Like, they're just not interested in moving their forces out. Oh boy, this is one hell of a turn. So they lose one fight, unfortunately, because we got spoiled by retreating units. I mean, they don't necessarily lose a fight, because you can have units retreat into enemy territory, but and still win. But it's likely if you have units breaking. What is this, like malnourished force versus malnourished force? Unsuccessful assault. Xibalba's frog people doing work. My QT little frog dudes. Come on, frogmen. Another assault by Nazca. It's a relatively large force, and they shall take that fight. Oh, we have the War Elephant group of mercenaries. Like, they take this no matter what. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, trample. Trample! Oh, completely wiped out. Oh, man. That was a good mercenary buy, but... Well, that's weird to say. A good mercenary buy by Xibalba. Oh, this is so... that fucked with my brain. I think they take this 100%. I didn't get sacred bonus. Yeah, reinvigoration. And they have shields, so they can actually like use the reinvigoration to some degree. They can hold the front line with the protection bonus from the Earth Magic level 9, as well as the reinvigoration bonus. They can hold longer. They hit like trucks, and they cause permanent damage. Or semi-permanent if you have recuperation or something to get rid of the wounds. But for all intents and purposes, it's permanent damage because of the death weapons. Those units are really nice. I don't know. It's a merc unit of spearmen. There's a decent sized force of barbarians here. I think they won. They got it. Unless their commander dies because of these arrows, which is always a possibility. Because it's an onslaught of like short bow arrows that go anywhere. And they have the high ground, so they have definitely the possibility to overshoot and accidentally hit the enemy leader. But we have a Nazca attack. We already know this guy dies. But he gets reanimated as a mummy, so it's all good. Look at, what is this assaulting force? Like, why do you have like a front line of mercs? Like a merc militia. They're not mercs, but they're militia. I'm mixing up my M's. Why do you have a front line of militia and then have a back line with your stronger, more defensive units? It doesn't, what is this nonsense? They don't get it. I can't. The computer just is seeing routes that I can't even imagine here. They're just on another level. They want those militiamen to die and then run through their own units, causing morale damage. That's exactly what they want. I don't know why the AI wants that, but they want it. It's the next level strats that I'm just not privy to. This guy dies. No, he doesn't. He retreats into enemy territory and dies. Xibalba's doing work. They're my frog motherfuckers are doing work. Oh man, they have. I don't think they have the forces to hold out though. Unfortunately. Oh, there was an additional battle against neutrals. I mean, rather, the neutrals are assaulting. Wait, hold up. Before I click these, are these Bakemono? Bakemono? No, they're just trolls. Ah, those don't look like the normal trolls, though. Are those the normal trolls? They look like more of the Bakemono from Shinuyama. So I guess they are classified as trolls, and I guess the Oni, I mean, the Bakemono, rather, not the Oni, but the Bakemono are basically kind of like trolls and goblins. I mean, they are to some degree. So I guess it makes sense. But gotta have love that reanimate. That reanimate wasn't obviously the main reason they won. The sacred, like, brown toad dudes. Pretty good. Are these guys sneaky or something? Because, like, Nazca, oh, never mind. We don't get to see enemy forces. We can't see beyond the territories of our main town. So when I was on Nazca, I was like, why can't I see the enemy forces? But then, I realize now. I don't think Xibalba can take any of these assaults. They might be able to take their Shambler weird force and push up. But I feel like these territories are going to be lost incredibly quickly by the two very large forces at the border. We have a Shambler force. No, this is a loss. This is a guaranteed loss. They're gonna lose these two flyers immediately. And this one's a little bit better placement. The Shamblers are surrounding the militia. I mean, you don't necessarily want to like protect one of the weaker units in the game, but you definitely don't want them just to get in combat first and die, because you have to value their attacks to some degree. I mean, they can cause damage. Sure, the chance of them hitting things are relatively low, but you gotta value the fact of surround coming into play. And I can't actually remember if we've already watched this one. We haven't, but this is almost a guaranteed victory. We have a Wick as a province again. Let's see Wick random generate again. Okay, this can go either way. These elephants are going to take massive missile damage. However, if flyers come in anytime soon and surround these elephants, I think it's game over. These elephants would completely trounce flying units. But if the flying units go to the archers in the back, oh, I don't know. There's going to be massive damages on Nazca's forces. Though Nazca might win because they are indeed attacking. I have to talk louder because my ears are getting fucking ringed in by the constant trumpetings of the elephants. But yeah, I saw that coming, but it was very costly. They lost, let's say, at least half their forces? At least they're half their forces in this engagement. Let's see. Whoa, I thought they lost way more than that. Holy shit. They only lost 23. I guess that's not that bad. They fielded 100, so they lost... I mean, it's not really a fifth or a fourth, but let's just say a fifth of their troops. They lost all of their war elephants. That's really unfortunate. Oh, time is ticking. Time is ticking. 2 candles left. Barring a random event that gives me more candles, we are getting close to the end. Xibalba is taking possibly 2 neutrals. I don't actually remember seeing on the map if they take this, but it's the Mercenary Pikemen group against a lot of Lion Tribe. They should have this, though that fire damage is causing quite a bit of problems for them. But yeah, they still had it. So the attrition on those units is gonna start adding up, because the Merc units, I don't think they heal the units they lose. I mean, like, obviously I'm not talking about like healing damage over time from the battle. I'm talking about like the units lost. I don't think those units come back if someone else hires them. So any damage a mercenary unit takes is, I think, permanent, which is not good. But this is a guaranteed victory for my frogs. My motherfucking frogs! Yeah, my cute little frogs! So they lose the Dante Stingers, which I'm assuming were the pikeman group. But I'm going to start losing Dominion pretty quickly. If Xibalba takes this territory, I think it's pretty much guaranteed game over for me. And I think they might win. Honestly, I think Xibalba might be in a position for them to win through Dominion. Alright, so I think this is one of the few remaining neutral territories. I think it might be like one of 2 remaining neutral territories on land. I don't see any reason. Yeah, this is almost a guaranteed win by Xibalba, barring a random like commander kill by the archer unit. But that's highly unlikely as the high ground advantage for missiles goes to Nazca here. Alright, Nazca's probably going to take this territory. Yeah, they're going to take that territory. Xibalba, are you guaranteed a victory here? You're not guaranteed. You don't have any sacred units. But your frogs are generally higher value than the units you're fighting. And they took it with a very malnourished force. Though this turn definitely goes to Nazca, at least so far with the amount of territories gained. And they're taking that one. So they Delta 3 here. I mean Delta 2 to our boys of Xibalba. Xibalba's not taking any neutral. Oh, they might be Delta 4 on total territories. We might lose this territory in Xibalba hands with this number of barbarians. It's a guaranteed. We have to watch it. This is not a good thing to happen to our nation of Xibalba. My frogs, come on. You gotta take this victory. You were winning, then you were losing, and I think you're winning now. Though I can't be sure. I mean, I really can't be sure if they're winning on Dominion. What I can be sure is that I definitely need to get some water. 100%. 100% need to get some water, but I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. You keep going until this round's over. And before this round never ends. It just keeps going. I would say 90% chance Xibalba will win here. Only reason why I gave it a 90% instead of higher for Xibalba is because they have some mages back here that might be able to do some crazy stuff, but unfortunately they weren't able to do it. And plus, you never know, Commander just got killed. Flyers actually had the right tactics set up to attack archers, but it's still, even that was not enough. I think this might be the last neutral territory on land. Well, never mind, not anymore. Last neutral territory in the north. Because I think there's 2 neutral territories in the south by Xibalba. Is the one that no one's been able to take, and then the one that just happened by the barbarian uprising. But I think they should be able to take this. They have Wolf Tribe knife dudes that are decent. They do decent damage. They have decent like health totals, so they can sustain like maybe 1 or 2 attacks, depending on damage rolls by the swordsman. Though they might break if they lose any more. And they did break. Swordsmen were good enough to hold. Let's just quit out of that. Let's see what Nazca does here. They take this. It's unfortunate. It's the main issue that I'm having with Xibalba's forces here in this match. They have summoned a lot of mummified flying dudes with their special, like, I don't know, like kings, or rather princesses and priestesses and whatnot. See, this is the main issue with Xibalba, is that they don't have the forces to defend these assaults. They're getting more forces now, but it's getting to the point where Nazca can just put like a small force of really highly mobile units and just cut swaths through Xibalba land. Sure, they'll lose those territories immediately, but like this territory right here, if Xibalba loses this, they lose their church there. I mean, the church is destroyed, so that's a resource spent gone. It's completely wasted at this point. I mean, at that point. Same thing with this one. And since Nazca has flying units, they can have like really fast recon units that move up, take territories, and then just die or retreat. But they can move vast distances. An assassination attempt that is successful. Holy shit! I think that's the first assassination attempt against a non-neutral faction that we've seen that has been successful. I might be wrong, but I probably am wrong, but that's actually a really good sign for Xibalba. Because you can't field units without a commander. Though, Nazca is going to take this. But that was only against neutrals, so I guess it's alright. It was the neutral province that they lost all those wolf tribes. Oh, we're seeing him! We're seeing him! He has been fielded. Now, see, this can go either way. Either A, he uses the magic, which we should check to see what level of magic they have in different things. Either he stays back and uses magic, lets his units and his summons do the work, or he flies in and dies immediately. But he's got the 1d6, or I actually want to see it. I want to see exactly before I say anything. He's got the 1d6 bats and the 3d6 long dead. So I think he rolled relatively high on the long dead. Though they're losing this flank. These sacred units need to move back now and protect the commanders. I think they lost one commander. Oh, and he flew in! Oh, this could be disastrous! This could be disastrous! Oh, thank goodness. How much health do you have? Good old Michael here. Oh, he's got 200 HP because of the Dominion strength. So I guess it's alright. He can be a little aggressive. Why wasn't he casting spells? Oh, that is my question. We'll see when we get to Xibalba's turn to see what they're going into. We know they're going into construction magic because Michael over there had his Bane Blade. Which, whenever I say Bane Blade, I know there's an enemy in this unit called Bane. And they have like a weird like green sword, kind of lightsabery. It's not as lightsabery as like the Wraith Lord, which kind of looks like a Sith. But obviously that's why there's a Bane Blade. But every time I say Bane Blade, I think I'm saying like Beyblade. And I was never into Beyblades, but I know of their existence. So I was like, Beyblades! He's got a Beyblade. And I think it's because of like my somewhat stuffy nose because of allergies. And it's also because I can't really hear too much of my voice because of my headset. So it's like I'm partially deaf. But Nazca's going to take this fight. There's going to be a Xibalba territory lost. Let's quit out. We don't need to watch the entire thing. Wick is being battled in again. Very popular province to fight in. I got some villains against some wolf tribe. What are you doing, Xibalba, with these villains? What are you thinking here? What's going through your mind to make an assault like that? Oh, we're going into the Xibalbian Eastern Front. That's what I was saying about the mobile infantry. Is it enough, though? There's no sacred units fielded. But we do have frogs behind the wolf tribe. If these commanders die, it's all over. But nope, the flyers got routed. If melee units do pretty much any damage to these flyers, I think it's over. I think they're gonna get routed here. Yep. Relatively close, but the frog units definitely are really strong. I need to be valuing them higher. Definitely, if I start playing Xibalbian forces, I won't go to the net dudes so much. I try to get a better early game than this Xibalbian CPU got. Maybe not get the blow dart guys because I haven't seen them be really effective. Maybe I just haven't noticed them be effective. The other two sacred units seem to be better. But let's check the magic research here. It's not something we do a whole lot. It's something that we can do now, and that we have the computer turns. But they're going relatively even on all things. They're really going to evocation right now. Michael can cast Shadow Bolt. I don't know why he wasn't casting Shadow Bolt. It's a little weird. A little weird. Still 2 candles on my home territory. This match is stalling out like a mofo right now. Oh my god. Okay, so those sacred units are incredibly strong. I think Xibalba has the advantage here. Though they do have 2 horse commanders, I think. So if they lose those, it could be over. But yeah, the sacred shield, like brown toad guys, are pretty defensive. I made a right call. Who would have thought? I made a good call. We already watched this one. Or did we watch this one? No, we didn't. But this is a guaranteed victory for Nazca, so they make 1 bad assault, 1 good assault. Bunch of frogs. Yeah, Xibalba takes this. I don't think we need to watch it. Bunch of frogs versus barbarians. This one will be over quick, so we can just watch it, but it's guaranteed victory. Sword barbarians, I think, do less damage than the Warhammer ones. So that was unfortunate barbarian choice by Nazca there. And then death and still the underwater territory at the border of my province. It's not been taken by either faction. And Xibalba has multiple units at the borders of that province that can go in and take it. This is a guaranteed victory. They have a bunch of sacreds. So it made some good attacks from Xibalba, and then we have some more attacks by Nazca. Nazca's just taking so much damage. They're losing so many of their flyers, and flyers are, you gotta, like, there's a certain value to units. So to value the flying buff, you have to increase the resource or gold cost more so than the resource gold cost increase caused by amphibian. So obviously they're taking this, and they obviously have the ability to move around the world map pretty quickly because of the flying units and part of flying groups. They can pretty much traverse over mountains and whatnot. Probably move more than 1 territory a turn. But they're losing these expensive units in some of these equal engagements, and even engagements where they technically have maybe they definitely have a resource advantage. They're losing those fights, and even if they do win them, they're taking such massive damage. Like think back to that elephant fight. They lost an elephant mercenary commander unit, which maybe cost them like maybe between 60 and 300 gold, and that unit killed 21 flying units. That's immense damage. That's also turns spent creating those units, whereas the mercenary commander of those elephants basically came out immediately. Do you see, sure they lost maybe a few here. Most of them flew away, so I guess that's an advantage to having flying units. When they do break, you can save some of them. But remember back maybe a game year ago when the armies of Nazca were huge and abundant, but now they're starting to get a little bit attritioned. This guy has like everything enchanted. Holy crap. Ring of Tame Lightning, Ring of Levitation, Bracers of Protection, Ring of Fire. So he's got he's almost pimped out completely. How many buffs he has because of all this stuff. Oh my gosh, how is this match still not ended? What happens in God's Stomp? Oh, God's been fielded. Michael's been fielded. I don't know. He's taking massive damage here. Michael might die here. Michael is gonna. Oh no, he didn't. Oh wow, that was very close. I thought Michael was gonna die. He took something like maybe 50 points of damage. That's like 1/4 of his HP. But he was able to take the province. But now he's in a precarious situation where there's a decent sized force of Nazca right here. So he needs to either get reinforcements or move out of the province. But we will see what the AI chooses to do here. Oh, that was a very long turn of events here. Oh my god, look at all this retreating going on. Yeah, it seems like Nazca, I'm making some straight assumptions here. Don't have a whole lot of experience with Nazca. I have 0 experience. Maybe 1 match of experience with Xibalba here. I am out of water. But it seems like Nazca's a very like early game, early expansion. Maybe they work better on larger maps because they can traverse more of the map and kill off some like easy neutrals. But at this point, Xibalba's fielding very few units that are they're expensive for what they are, but they're doing massive amounts of economy damage. Though Nazca should take this with their mercs. Like those flyers, oh, they're archer flyers, so I guess it doesn't really matter. If they flew in, they would have been immediately killed. But there's some weird place. Why are the blow dart guys getting placed ahead of shield dudes? That doesn't make any sense to me. And we're seeing some water elemental magic. We saw some earlier. We're seeing some more again. So that's always nice to see. Unsuccessful assault on that second assault. Now Xibalba's being aggressive here. I mean, they're gonna take this, barring some weird effect by Michael here. Why does he keep flying in? At least he casts Stone Skin and Strength of Giants. And his bats do some disrupting. His 1d6 bats, he rolled pretty high there. He got 5 bats, which is pretty good. So they fly in first, kill some things, disrupt the forces, lower morale. And then I guess he can fly in with Stone Skin cast and Strength of the Giant, so he hits harder. But he's not really meant to be in the fray. I mean, I don't know why he's not casting Shadow Bolt at least, or some other magic. Okay, so that's some two good assaults by Xibalba. I don't know why like these turns are set up this way, where like Nazca gets 2 assaults and then Xibalba gets 2 assaults and then Nazca gets 2 assaults. I don't understand why it just can't be all Nazca assaults and then all Xibalba assaults. Doesn't make too much sense here. But Nazca, I don't know actually. The frog guys here are pretty good. I mean, they're not the sacred ones, so I mean they're not holding, so they're obviously getting retreated here. But unfortunate. Unfortunate. Why did they place their commander so far up? Like Xibalba has definitely got less forces fielded here. These frog ones aren't the best frog ones, but if they kill this mage dude here, they could probably break half the forces. I don't think they're gonna kill this commanding unit though, however. That's the assaulting forces down. It looks like, nope, not gonna hold. There's some earth elementals moving in with the regeneration. And, well, I don't know, mudmen too. Oh, the magic's coming into play for Xibalba here. They're Claymen and earth elementals are breaking the enemy forces. And then there's some good like water elementals for some good measure. That was a very good turn for Xibalba. Taking 2, defending 2, taking 3 actually. And only losing 2 territories to Nazca. That's very good for them. Or rather, they took 2, defended 3 because of the neutral uprising there. Actually, they took the neutral territory here. Whoa, hold up. Oh my god. I forgot to mute the mic for my sneeze. But they finally took the water territory here. It's going to be only a matter of time till I'm taken out. Xibalba doesn't seem to be like... I take that back. They are building churches. But they're not building churches in this water territory, which is a little weird. Hopefully, Peku decides to value building a church right here, because the amount of Dominion pressure coming from all sides and across the ocean as well probably will take me out of the game sooner rather than later, and we'll have a winner. But I actually really don't know who's winning on Dominion at this point. But Xibalba's pissed. They are pissed. They are taking like possibly 6 territories if all of these attacks go well. High ground archers versus a lot of blow dart sacred guys. Well, even if Xibalba loses this. They've caused immense damage on the forces of Nazca, but they were able to take it. Their sacred units, I think, are just plain better than Nazca's sacred units. Maybe, I don't know. It feels like they can mass them, and like massing them to the degree is better than the flying massing of Nazca. Maybe if it was like a max army of 100 versus 100 or something. I don't know. Maybe the flyers would come into play more, because getting the surround with flyers is essential. But getting a surround of lower tier units against like these mofos right here, like you have no chance, especially when they're blessed. And these priests seem relatively strong. What level are you? Level 3, yeah, because he's casting Banish, not Banishment, Smite to kill living beings. He's doing like 30 damage for Smite, which is very good. Neutral roll for bats. Got 3 bats that I can see. I don't know why he's making this assault. Michael here might die. Unless he kills an enemy commander. Oh shit, is he gonna do it? Oh, he did it! Oh fuck, god damn it, Michael! Yo, bats are better than birds! Bats are better than birds! That's 4 territories. I'm pretty sure they won all 4 of those battles. I might be misremembering one of them, but I'm pretty sure they won all 4. Though Nazca will take this, I don't see any sacred units here. Now they're buying the bat dudes. But I guess the normal bats are less powerful than mercenary pikemen. So that's a loss for Xibalba, but they still took 4 territories away from Nazca. And neutrals might take this territory back away. If not, there'll be additional attrition damage against Nazca, because this is the force that just took the territory. They didn't really lose too much, so I mean, I guess it doesn't really come into play here. Alright, and then a sneaking enemy we don't necessarily need to see. This is actually an assault of the fortress. That's blowing my mind. That is blowing my mind. Xibalba is definitely getting this late game going. Look at this. Oh, it's blowing my mind. Oh, did they lose Bitra again? Or did they just never take... Maybe, I don't think anyone's taken Bitra. Or if they had, it's been uprisen against... It's been this neutral territory for God knows how long. I so want to tell this mofo to build a church. They have the treasury to do it. But that would be cheating. I don't want to cheat. So it's possible that Xibalba takes more territories than Nazca here. If we assume all assaults are equal, Xibalba's taking this, barring some weird arrow. So I don't think that's gonna happen. Also, they do have one of their sacred, what is this guy's? Mooch. Actually, yeah, they have more than one sacred. I just realized they had a bunch of the brown toad sacred guys. This is not a good assault. Yeah, he rolled low on the bats, so the bats are already dead. But he's casting Blade Wind. Look at how much damage that did. That's the power of level 9 Earth Magic. And he killed one of the commanders. Oh, so good. So good, Michael. Michael, you're the best. Holy shit. Holy shit, Michael. And he actually has some decent gear too. He's got black steel body plate, which is going to come into play. But he's taking so much damage here. Actually, he didn't take that much. He's just not getting a lot of Dominion bonus because he's getting further and further away from the bulk. Actually, I don't know which one we're on. I know we're on a Nazca assault one, so I'm assuming this one. Actually, they're starting to field their undead flying units. And we actually have Epunamon has been fielded. Both gods are fielding themselves. And Apunamon shall probably take this. Though, these are the Wu Mooches, which are like, oh, the Misform's gone. I'm assuming Misform works relatively the same as Glamour, because it looks like they got hit once and the Misform went away. Wu Mooches did some damage to the god, but it's not going to be anything that noticeable. It wasn't enough. And they will definitely take this territory. So far, we're 2 for 2, I think. Both nations are getting 2 territories each. And that is the Pikemen Merc Squad. And I don't see why they would lose this, so I'm pretty sure this Pikemen will hold, or rather assault. And it looks like they will. So that was a very good turn for Xibalba here. Their god was able to take away that entire force pretty much by himself. Well, fucking the magic, dude. I don't know why he's not casting more of it. Like, it's expensive, yeah, but you see this, guys? 1 candle left. 1 candle left. And nothing new on that front. Let's end the turn. We can be both nations can get 2 assaulting provinces. So usually they make assaults. Usually, most of the time, or they make assaults they can win. Nazca will win this 100%. There's a bunch of sacred, but it's not enough to hold. Though there are wolves here. Wolves are fodder, but these aren't the better of the sacred. These are the weakest of the sacred units that I've seen Xibalba have. These blow darters. If they were the shield guys, maybe they would have taken more with them. Or if they were Wo Mooches, the blue dude that we saw right there, maybe they would have done it. But they were just so outnumbered. And I don't even think they did enough damage to really merit that. So this is the secondary assaulting force that we've seen before. We have a giant toad. We have the brown toad shield guys. I don't know. Will they be able to cause them to flee? And it looks like they are. Now it's really up to these mages to start casting more of their elemental spells, like the earth elementals. And it looks like what they're doing is right. We need to see some mudmen. Because these brown toad sacred dudes are gonna break. Chak mooches are gonna break. Though every turn causing the banishment is causing some permanent damage to Nazca. And they routed him! Oh, see the power, the absolute destructive power of these Chak mooches. And also Wo mooches were, I don't think there were any fielded Wo mooches. So that's a failed assault from a huge army of Nazca. So they only took 1 territory, and this could mean that Xibalba's gonna go +3 this turn. They're gonna take 3 provinces. I mean, I guess it would only be +2 if you take into account, but like total provinces taken would be +3. Is it going to field Michael here? No, they're not fielding Michael. They are fielding the Mercs, some Chak mooches, and just a hodgepodge of enemy units, which aren't going to be able to do a whole lot. All the flyers are already almost 100% dead. Only 2 escaped. This was Nazca's game. Nazca was really pushing hard. Like they had the advantage. And honestly, if the AI was more aggressive, they probably could have taken out Xibalba early on the game when they had a sizable force of maybe like 40 or so units here. And it was before Xibalba's god that I'm calling Michael, before he was out even. So they could have possibly even taken the home fortress of Xibalba, or at least caused some like lack of unit production. But unfortunately, they did not do that. Unfortunately. There's 2 neutral uprisings. 1 was successful. I don't see where the other one was. Probably here. 1 was unsuccessful. Oh, wait. Am I neutral? I have 1 Dominion. This game is gonna end really soon. I have 1 province left, basically. If someone takes that province, I'm out. This might be the last turn of the game. But it's not, because no one's going to take that province because they're too pissed at each other, going ham at each other. They're not going to hold the assault here. This is the God Fortress, God Force of Epunamon. There's no sacreds here. The Sky Elementals are doing work, and they're not dead yet. Though, actually, the Stone Throw killed the freaking Sky Elementals, though it doesn't really matter because those are free every turn, every battle, rather, Epunamon's a part of. Not surprised that their god was able to take that out. Will Xibalba be able to take the Nazca out here? I would say yeah. We can look in the map and see if there's an upset, but we don't need to see such a small-scale engagement at this late of the game. Same thing here. Where is the other large force? They had two main forces. One of them got completely wrecked. So this is their other large force. We're gonna watch. There's a lot of mages here, and we see a lot of Wilmooches and a lot of Chakmooches with shields. So it's possible that an upset happens here. Unlikely, because of the amount of units fielded, but it's possible. The priests are being attacked here, which is not a good sign. Though I feel like the flyers are gonna break at any moment. And they have. There needs to be some offensive spell casting here. I don't know if it's gonna happen. We need to see some earth elementals, but they have been routed. Oh man, Chakmooches. They had like what? We're gonna see. I'm gonna say they maybe had a maximum of 18 Chakmooches in that fight. Which one was it? Was it this one? They had 8. They had 9 total. And they were able to hold that. Do you see this force layout? Like, it's insane. They killed 48 enemy units and they only lost 14. That's the type of efficiency that is leading to the demise of Nazca here. And let's look at the score graphs. Let's look at the score graphs. Holy shit. Xibalba has more units than Nazca, and their units are way more expensive and way more valued. This is not a good spot for Nazca to be in. I don't know if they can come back. Like, judging by the provinces and income graphs, I'm assuming that Dominion is going to be going the way of Xibalba here. It definitely has to be by the amount of like black candles, and we're on Nazca, so it's got to be. Like, we have a black candle all the freaking way up to the enemy fort, main home province. Am I taken out of the game yet? Not yet. Still have one candle of Dominion, one little province that still believes in whatever god that I have as a player. It's unfortunate placement. The Chakmooches are behind the green guys, the normal like frog dudes. And you want the really tough, hard-hitting guys up front, because what happened, the green guys died at a very accelerated pace here, and that allowed them to be broken. They were tied to the same unit, so that's unfortunate. Oh, what assault is this? Why are you making this assault? This is blowing my mind. Well, I mean, they got the surround. But why would Xibalba make an attack like this? I mean, it's possible that they didn't make the attack, they were just moving troops, and then they were like, they moved into an enemy territory that didn't have troops in it before. It looks like Bitra probably was finally taken by Xibalba. This is a good Nazca turn, but this is the problem that I'm having, is that there's just a lot of like back and forth. Like, Xibalba has a really strong lead at this point, but there's been a lot of back and forth in this match, which makes it a good match, don't get me wrong. It's just that we're not getting a victor. And I want a victor, because this has been a very long match. I mean, I guess it's a good sign, you know? Like, we haven't had these long of a match for quite some time. And I think this actually might be game. If I check Ashdod. No, I still have that one candle. If this neutral territory goes, it's game. And it might be close to game. Actually, no, never mind. I have 2 territories. That's interesting. So this is my territory. So I guess, I don't know. If Nazca takes away my territory, just build the church, Nazca. And it'll spell your demise. So let's watch the Bitrov battle from Xibalba. Hopefully they take his province. It's been forever. And this is a very weird assaulting force. What? This hurts my brain when I see the AI make attacks like that. I don't really understand it. Xibalba definitely has a fuck ton of troops. Holy fuck. And I feel like they definitely are pushing them out at this point. So this is Nazca's turn to start really changing the flow of the game. They're assaulting 3-1. And the main forces of Xibalba haven't moved up yet. They're taking this. This could go either way. The flyers, if they fly in, the pikemen will do some major work. We got 3 Chakmuchas here. Those lion tribe actually killed a few of the ghouls. I'm surprised. But yeah, the Merc force was definitely a huge boon to the defense of this province. Well, that was a good defense by Xibalba. So far Nazca's only taken 1 territory. Weird attack again. No sacreds here. Just normal units. Completely outnumbered. No like mages, just a priest. I don't understand. So basically 2 victories. No province changed there. So Nazca might take 2 territories this turn. I think they will, but this is a slightly closer match. I mean, it's not close at all, but it's slightly closer than what we've seen before. And that's that. So let us look at the map on Xibalba's side. They're not moving their forces out, and they're losing territories left, right, and center to neutrals, which is unfortunate for them. So this could be an even set of territory exchanges as long as Xibalba stops making really dumb attacks. This seems like it's a decent attack. I would put them to win this. It looks like a lot of the flyers... Are those archers mainly? No, they're normal archers. They have the normal flyers, so they're gonna die to these pikemen. And banishment taking care of the undead. Having level 3 priests is nothing to joke at here. Well, that was a good assault. I like to see assaults like that. Not like these weird, like we send 0 units in and then immediately die. This was pretty much a guaranteed loss for Xibalba here. Though, you know, the enlargement spell made it so that that commanding unit almost was able to cause a break of the normal units. And this is the Nazca victory. So far, Nazca took 2 territories to Xibalba's 1. Ah, God, this is the same force you attacked last time. We're not gonna watch that. Next turn. There's a huge battle level, like 20 turns. Oh, Arcane Probing. So So what do we see? We have 3 assaults to possibly 4 territories gained by Xibalba. So Xibalba does everything right here. They will come out on top. They'll stem some of the advantage gained by Nazca. Unfortunately, Nazca's not going to be successful here. Unfortunately, if you're a Nazca fan. Fortunate if you're a Xibalba fan. But maybe you're not watching anymore as a Xibalba fan because you got really disheartened by that early game potatoing. And you weren't here to see the frogs come out on top. The Pepes come out on top. The Arnan Ks come out on top. There's no way Xibalba loses this fight. So many sacred units here. And we have a Woe Mooch leading the charge. Berserker. If they kill that commandant unit with oh wow, that's major damage. Losing commanding units is not something you want to do. Sure, you can always rebuild them, but it's always not a good thing to lose the ability to field the units. I think actually Xibalba might be able to hold this if they just cast enough. Like they have Animate Dead. They're gonna be able to do it because of the priest with Animate Dead. Maybe that's why they're valuing the priest so high in encounters, because of their ability to Animate Dead and use Banishment. However, they weren't able to do that in those previous fights because they were immediately killed or routed, rather. Even still, like the same fight where they were fighting like 150 enemy units, like they didn't have enough there, even with like 3 casts of Animate Dead, to even do anything. I value Xibalba to win this. These flyers won't do anything. But gotta like respect the Woe Mooches and the Chak Mooches. This is a very good turn so far for Xibalba. I don't think, even if they lose the rest of these engagements, this is a very good turn for them. Oh, the Animate Dead's gonna be starting to come into play here. They have enough conjuration to cast it, and all of their priests are gonna be doing it. It only takes 1 death magic. I thought it was higher than that. But no, it's not. It's 1 death magic to cast Animate Dead. So they take Bitra, I think. Because they had a force of Mudmen there. No, I guess they don't take Bitra. Once again, Bitra is not taken, but they hold. Oh, never mind. We already watched that one. Never mind. I'm saying things that are incorrect. I'm surprised this candle is still there for my nation that is basically across the map. I guess the shorter path is here to it. I don't know. How many jumps is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's even. But how are they not taking this like 1 Dominion out? They have churches everywhere. How have they been not Dom killed? How is this match still going? How has it not ended? Well, Nazca's the only one taking assaults on this turn. Oh, they're losing this. This is a very desperate attack for them. I don't know why they're taking this. Banishment's gonna be taking care of these ghouls. Yep. And all these Chak moves. There's so many. And did you see like the wave of movement of them? That was very cool. Very fluid wave of assaulting forces. So that's a failed assault on Nazca's part. Will Nazca be fielding most of their forces here? No, they're not fielding Epunamon's force, but they should be able to take this. We won't watch it. And so Nazca takes that one. Or they don't. Hold up. Are you no way they lose this fight. No way. There must be some glitch. No way they lose this. Oh, never mind. I forgot. We need to watch if we ever see a match with at least 1 priest because of Animate Dead. Animate Dead is just too strong. unbreakable infantry, basically. I mean, that's a little bit of a waste to cast that next to animate dead. So, I guess they were able to hold that. Let us check Ashdod. Still the 2 Dominion here. Someone needs to take this province. I think someone needs to put some forts or like some cathedrals, churches down. Oh man, this is going on so long. I was planning on streaming for 3 hours. Don't get me wrong. I was planning on streaming 3 hours, but I was hoping to at least get 3 matches because we were getting normal matches that were averaging a little over an hour, a little bit under an hour. But I wasn't expecting endurance matches like this. But Xibalba should take this 100%. I'm streaming for 4 hours almost, which is, I guess, not a whole lot in the streaming sense, but no break, constant talking, trying to make decent commentary. I don't know, trying to make some decent commentary for 4 hours. Not something that I am used to at this point. I was expecting to have 3 matches done, and if I get to 4 hours, I was expecting to have 4 matches done in this lower division bracket. But it doesn't look like that. We're gonna only have 2 matches. But they are matches. I'm not complaining. They are real matches, man. We are getting some crazy potential turnarounds in these matches. This is why do you keep making this weird attack against this force, Xibalba? Instantly devastated. Not even a chance to cast Animate Dead. While the enemy is casting Animate Dead. Am I like immortal or something? Like, can I not be killed through Dominion? Like, it's blowing my mind. It has happened! Okay, so we have a Dominion victory here. So it seems like to win by Dominion is definitely the longest way of winning this. I'm kind of stalling. I'm pretty sure I know who won, but I'm stalling. Dominion is the longest way. I mean, it's very rare that you will have a domination victory before a Dominion victory, so I would say Dominion seems to be the longest victory condition. I mean, there's only one other victory condition other than domination to take me out, but so we either get a really long match or a really short match. Let's watch the rest of these battles before we look at the victor here. But I think we can all start to assume, despite a very good early game by Nazca, I have an honest-to-God feeling that Xibalba has won, but you never know. Maybe Nazca won. Who knows? We haven't looked at the Dominion score graph the entire game, and unless you're going through counting them candles, you can't be too sure. Man, dude. This is some bad attacks by Nazca. Nazca could potentially push really hard into Xibalba territory and maybe even win through taking the enemy fortress at Xibalba, the capital, because they have so many forces they could field. But the AI is just never going to make that decision. They're never just going to randomly decide to make risky as fuck attacks turn after turn after turn. But they could have done it, like with their forces, like seeing both sides. Maybe not at this point in the game, obviously because the match is over. But maybe at this point in the game they couldn't have done it because of the amount of forces being reinforced into the capital of Xibalba. But there was multiple times in the entirety of this match that Nazca could have won. Like the early game from Xibalba, sure they were able to take some territories early, but then they stalled until late mid game. Where then they started really pushing out units. But there was points where Nazca could have won. They could have taken the territory of Xibalba. And obviously this is all the assumption that Xibalba wins. If Xibalba didn't win through the Dominion here and it was Nazca that won, I will find it quite funny that I'm wrong once again. But this is the beauty of it. I'm able to make this assumption. But look at these Chads. Are they really called Chads? Or are they called Chaks? Okay. If they were called Chads, it would be the complete opposite of my R9K race. But my frogs might have did it. My robotic frog people. My autistic frogs. I think they won. They've moved on. My little froggy frogs. Fanaticism. Holy shit. I don't see my frogs winning this. Despite there being a decent number of woe checks here. There's just too many units. And they don't have a priest, it would seem. Like their commander is the long dead horse rider. So there's no like banishment. Yeah, they weren't gonna do that. If they had a priest to get the blessing buff on our Wochaks, I think there would have been a closer fight because they would, after they blessed, they would have started casting banishment to kill the undeads. But rejoice, Famalam! The one that I call Michael, God, you know, I'm gonna try his real name because he won. Miktan Tek Hutili Miktan Tek Hutili, God of Greater Earth, Master of Darkness, Guardian of the Dead, Master of the Stony Ground, Patron of Soldiers, Great Ruler of Xibalba, has led his people, the autistic frogs from R9K, the Pepes, to victory. In all the temples of this world, hymns are sung to Michael's glory, offerings made to the great God of all. This world is now at peace, one being reigns supreme and has banished the false pretenders to places of darkness and eternal suffering. So let's take a look at the score graphs here before we cut it out. But look at this. Look at this income. This was the time of Nazca's dominance, and they started stalling. Seems to be the line here. If the nation starts to stall, it's less apparent in the early game, which is kind of weird to me. Look, I guess the stall by Xibalba wasn't that big. They got a province and then stalled, so this basically is like the length of their stall. But after that, look at this constant pressure. Constant pressure. They could definitely get the value over the enemy. And actually, they were winning Dominion throughout almost the entirety of the game. That is insane to me. Let's turn on my Dominion. I didn't actually die. That's surprising. That's 2 games in a row where I didn't get Dom killed. But that's the match, ladies and gentlemen. We have our winner of the second match in the first round of the lower division of our Season 1 Dominions 4 AI battles. And it's good old Michael here, God of the one death of Xibalba. My frogs have done it. Thank you guys for watching this video or any number of videos. I really appreciate you guys coming in, leaving comments that are both nice or unnice, constructive, unconstructive. Doesn't really matter. I appreciate you guys coming out. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Catch you guys next time.